3 generations of Ram 1500, 3rd gen, 4th, 5th, 200,000 miles. The best one to own isn't the newest. I'm Buck, 12 years a Mopar dealer tech. Every generation torn down on my bench. Let's settle it. I'm not going to feed you fake test data. What I've got is 20 years of these trucks on my lift and torn down in my bay. The question isn't which one drives nicest, it's which one is the best to own to high mileage. The most road, the fewest dollars, the least drama. We're going oldest to newest. Start with the 3rd gen, the 2002 through 2008 trucks. This is the most mechanical, most honest Ram of the 3. Leaf spring rear suspension out back. No air springs. Almost no electronics compared to what came later. This is the generation where the 5.7 HEMI was born, back in 2003. The early version before variable valve timing ever entered the picture. You also got the 4.7 PowerTech and the 3.7 V6 in these, and behind most of them sat the 545 RFE 5-speed. The same transmission that won my survivability comparison because it's simple and it refuses to die cheap. On the 4-wheel drive trucks, this generation moved to an independent front suspension, which rides better than the old solid axle setup. A couple of things worth knowing if you're shopping one. That early HEMI got cylinder deactivation, MDS, added in 2006, so the 06 through 08 trucks run the same system the later ones do, just without the variable timing. It's a good engine, simple and stout. The 4.7 though, be careful there. It's the weak motor of the bunch, the one that sludges and overheats when it's neglected, and I've got a whole teardown on why it loses. If you're buying a 3rd gen for the long haul, you want the HEMI, not the 4.7. So on paper, mechanically, this thing should be the durability king. And here's the honest truth from the bench. The drivetrain usually is the healthy part. I've torn down 3rd gen HEMIs with the bottom end still tight, bearings still in spec, the 545 RFE still shifting after a couple fluid services. The mechanical bones are good, but that's not what kills these trucks anymore. Time is what kills them. These are 17 to 24-year-old trucks now, and rust is the assassin, not the engine. I've had 3rd gen Rams come into my shop with a perfectly strong HEMI and lower cab corners you could push your thumb through. Body seams blistering, bed sides going. In the salt states, I've seen rot starting under 80,000 miles. Not because the truck was driven hard, but because road salt doesn't care how good your maintenance log looks. And it's not the rust alone. The dashboards crack right across the top. The interior trim peels and flakes. The gauge clusters start dropping needles or going dark. I've measured the draw on failing clusters and watched them lie to the owner about speed and fuel. Ball joints and tie rod ends are worn out on nearly every one at this age. The exhaust manifold bolts snap and tick. There was a service bulletin for upgraded hardware and anti-seize on those, but most never got it done. I had a fellow bring me a 2006 a while back, clean truck. HEMI ran like a watch. He wanted to put money into it. I got it on the lift and the frame was sound, but the cab corners and rockers were going, and the dash was split end to end. I had to tell him straight, the engine's got 200,000 more miles in it, but the truck around it is dissolving. That's the 3rd gen in one sentence. The heart's still strong, but you're buying somebody else's 2-decade-old body, and the body is what gives out first. A clean, rust-free, maintained one is still a fine work truck, but they're getting rare, and once the rust starts, no oil change on earth stops it. So here's how I'd shop one. If you're set on a 3rd gen, get underneath it before you ever pop the hood. Check the cab corners, the rockers, the bed sides, and the frame rails behind the rear wheels. That's where the rot hides. A little surface rust is fine. Flaking, bubbling, or a screwdriver going through is a walkaway. Cab corner and rocker repair done right is $1,000 to $2,000 in bodywork, and it never truly ends once it's started. The drivetrain you can trust on these. It's the steel around it you're really buying, and the price reflects all that. A clean 3rd gen is cheap to buy now, and that's the whole draw. But cheap to buy and cheap to own aren't the same thing. On a truck this age, the brake and fuel lines, the suspension bushings, the body, they're all on borrowed time even when the engine isn't. For a second truck, a farm truck, something that lives under a roof and never sees salt, a good 3rd gen earns its keep. For a daily you're trusting with 200,000 more miles, the math gets a lot harder. If you're getting value out of this, do me a favor, hit subscribe and drop a comment below telling me which generation you're running right now. I read every one, and it tells me what to tear into next. Now the 4th gen, the 2009 through 2018 trucks. And I'll tell you up front, this is the one. But let me earn that, because the 5th gen still got a real case coming, and I want you to see why the 4th gen beats it. This is the DS platform, and in 2009, it brought something that genuinely mattered: the coil-spring rear suspension. Ram threw out the leaf springs and went to coils in back, and that was a real ride and durability milestone. It rides better, and there's less to wear out and sag over time. This generation also brought the Ram box, went to a 5-lug wheel, and over its run, it got the good stuff under the hood. The 5.7 HEMI here got the eagle heads and variable valve timing, the matured version of the engine. The 3.6 Pentastar showed up for 2013, and the 3-liter EcoDiesel came along for 2014. But the milestone that makes this generation is the transmission. For 2013, Ram dropped in the ZF-based 8-speed. They call it the TorqueFlite 8. It's an excellent unit, smooth, efficient, and tough when the fluid gets serviced. That 2013 through 2018 combination, the 8-speed bolted to the matured 5.7 HEMI, is what everybody who knows these trucks calls the reliability sweet spot. And they're right, and that's worth being precise about, because the early 4th gens, 2009 through 2012, came with the older 5-speed, not the 8-speed. They're still solid trucks, but the 8-speed is the one you want, and it didn't arrive until 2013. So when I say sweet spot, I mean it narrowly. 2013 through 2018, with that transmission and the matured HEMI, that's the bullseye inside the winning generation. When I split one of these maintained HEMIs on the bench, the bottom end tells the same good story. Mains and rod bearings with even wear, crank in spec, bores still holding round, well past 200,000 miles. The top-end HEMI story, the lifters, the cylinder deactivation, the manifold bolts, that's real. But I've covered it to death already, and it's a maintenance item, not a death sentence. Keep clean oil in it, and it goes the distance. Now here's the one thing that can wreck a 4th gen, and you need to hear this, because it's the single most important buying point in this whole video. The 4-corner air suspension. It was offered starting 2013, and it is the key liability of this generation. The rubber air springs dry out and crack. Typical lifespan is only 80 to 100,000 miles, and I've seen failures start as early as 50 to 80,000. A single air spring can run you up to $700. A compressor failure is over $1,000. I've had owners tell me they've sunk $5,000 plus into repeated failures, and it's always worst in cold weather, when the rubber's most brittle. A lot of folks end up doing a coil spring conversion kit, Monroe or Suncor, somewhere around $500 to $600, which ends the problem for good, but costs you the automatic load leveling. Here's the critical part, and write this down. A 4th gen on standard coil springs sidesteps that entire nightmare. It never had the air system to begin with. So the biggest liability of the best generation is optional and avoidable, just by buying the right truck. And spotting it is easy. On the build sheet, it's the active level 4-corner air suspension. In person, an air truck sits a little differently. You'll see the compressor and air lines underneath, and there's a ride height control in the cab. If you're not sure, a quick VIN decode tells you in seconds. The simplest move is just to buy one on plain steel coils and never think about it again. There are a few other watch items, and I'll be straight about them. The hydraulic power steering rack seals can leak. Ball joints and tie rods wear, same as any truck. There was an electric power steering module recall on some of them, the EPS units. And the 3.6 Pentastar had a coolant intrusion problem where coolant could seep into a cylinder. Rear windows can leak. None of that is a deal breaker, and all of it is cheap and known. One more honest watch item, because I won't sell you a truck blind. These ran the TIP, the totally integrated power module, the truck's main electrical brain. On the early to mid trucks especially, a fuel pump relay inside it can fail and strand you, and the dealer fix is the whole module for around $1,000 when a bypass harness does the job for a fraction. Know that going in. And on that 8-speed, ignore anyone who tells you the fluid is lifetime. It isn't. Service it every 60,000 miles and the transmission outlives the truck. Skip it and you'll prove the opposite. And here's the ownership ace. This exact body kept going as the Ram 1500 Classic all the way through 2024. That means parts are everywhere, dirt cheap, and the trucks are still common as dirt. You will never hunt for a part for one of these. I had a customer roll in with a 2016 standard coils, HEMI, and the 8-speed, 220,000 miles, oil changed religiously. I went through it, expecting to find him a project. The bottom end was clean, the transmission shifted like new after a fluid and filter. The suspension was tight. I told him to keep driving it, because there was nothing on that truck I'd worry about for another 100,000 miles. That's the 4th gen, the balanced one. Mature engine, great transmission from 2013 on, a durable coil rear, and cheap parts forever. And the money seals it. A clean, well-kept 2015 or 16 HEMI with the 8-speed trades for far less than a 5th gen. The parts cost a fraction, and there's a competent independent shop on every corner that knows these cold. You're buying the cheapest truck to keep, not just the cheapest to buy. That's the whole game when you're chasing high mileage on a budget. Now the 5th gen, 2019 and up. And I want to give this truck full credit because it earns a lot of it. This is the DT platform, a complete redesign, about 225 pounds lighter, with that 12-inch screen and a 6-lug wheel. Best ride in the segment, best interior in the class by a mile. If you're judging on how it drives and how it feels, the 5th gen wins, and it isn't close. But we're not judging on how it drives. We're judging on how it is to own, and this is where the most advanced truck out-engineers itself. Start with eTorque, the 48-volt mild hybrid system, a belt-driven motor generator. Standard on the 3.6, optional on the HEMI, and then mandatory from 2023. It adds capability, and it adds complexity. I've seen the motor generator units fail, and owners get stuck waiting on long parts delays with the truck sidelined for weeks. And it isn't just the motor generator. That system leans on a 12-volt battery owner's report draining fast. And when it drops low, the truck throws gremlins all at once. Power steering, brake assist, the safety systems, the screen, all of it acting up together. A failed motor generator unit is no cheap part, and the wait for one can park your truck for a month. None of that touches the old HEMI in a 4th gen, because the old HEMI doesn't have any of it. Then the recalls. This generation has one of the highest recall counts in the whole segment, 50 plus across 2019 through 2025. There's the 2021 HEMI eTorque sudden stall recall, a PCM software problem. About 131,700 trucks affected. The air suspension carried over and it still fails, with service bulletins running into 2022 and 23, still worst in deep cold. That 12-inch Uconnect screen freezes and drops Bluetooth. There are rear window and third brake light leaks with bulletins written on them. And up in salt country, the brake rotors and calipers rust bad enough to cost you $600 to $1,200 an axle. The HEMI still ticks from the manifold bolts and carries the same lifter watch as before. I had a 2019 come in out of warranty with an MGU problem and a frozen screen. Beautiful truck, but the repair estimate and the parts weight made the owner sick because there was nothing cheap about any of it. That's the 5th gen once the factory coverage runs out. The most electronics, the most things to fail, and the most expensive to fix every time one does. If you are shopping a 5th gen, the 2022 and newer trucks are markedly better once the early bugs got sorted. Steer clear of the 2019 and 20 EcoDiesel with its high-pressure fuel pump and EGR troubles, and avoid the 2021 HEMI eTorque with the stall recall. And the 2025 Plus trucks drop the HEMI for the Hurricane Twin-Turbo Inline 6. That's simply too new for me to give any long-term verdict on. For what it's worth, that Hurricane comes in 2 flavors, a standard output and a high output, both twin-turbo 6s, and they may well turn out fine. But I don't guess on engines with no high mileage record, and neither should you with your own money. Here's a quiet tip on the 5th gens too. The earliest ones with the plain HEMI, before eTorque got forced on every V8, are the ones people who know are holding on to. A simpler V8 in the newest body is a combination Ram doesn't sell anymore. So if a 5th gen is the truck you want, buy it smart. Get one that's 2022 or newer. Keep the remaining factory warranty, or buy the extended coverage, and pull the VIN to confirm every open recall's been done, because there are a lot of them. Treated that way, it's a fantastic truck. Bought used and naked out of warranty, it'll empty your wallet faster than anything else in this comparison. So here's the verdict, with the reasons. The clear winner, the best Ram 1500 to own to high mileage, is the 4th gen. specifically a 2014 through 2018, on standard coil springs, not the air suspension, with the 8-speed and a maintained 5.7 HEMI. And I'll be honest about what loses and why. The 5th gen is the best truck to drive, no argument, but it's the most expensive to keep once the warranty's gone, with more complexity and more to break than anything else here. It out-engineered itself for the man who wants cheap longevity. The 3rd gen has the honest mechanical heart, and it's the cheapest to fix per repair. But the trucks are aging out, and rust takes them regardless of how good the drivetrain is. You can't oil change your way out of rotted cab corners. The 4th gen threads every needle. Mature engine. Great transmission from 2013 on. A durable coil rear. Parts everywhere and cheap because the body ran through 2024. And its single biggest liability, the air suspension, is optional, so you just buy one without it. The generations climbed from 3rd to 5th, but the winner sat in the middle the whole time. Not the oldest and simplest, not the newest and most advanced. The balanced one. Same truth I keep landing on with these trucks. Power went up, tech went up, price went up. But durability per dollar peaked in the middle and came back down the other side. The market sells you the newest. The bench tells you to buy the most proven. They are rarely the same truck. So here's your buyer's guide. The single best Ram 1500 to own to high mileage is a 2014 through 2018 4th gen standard coil springs, not air, the 5.7 HEMI with the 8-speed, and a clean oil change history. That truck threads every needle. Mature drivetrain, durable suspension, cheap parts, and no fatal corner. If you want the nicest drive and you'll keep up with the bills, buy a 2022 or newer 5th gen. If you find a rust-free 3rd gen and you want a simple work truck, it'll serve you. But for the best one to own, year after year, with the least drama, it's that 4th gen, every single time. Whatever generation you're parked in right now, the one habit that decides its fate is the same. Clean oil, on time, every time. Do that, and any of these outlasts what you paid for it. Next week, I'm laying out the exact Ram 1500 model years I'd buy with my own money, and the ones I'd run from. Subscribe so you don't miss it. That's it from the shop. See you then.